Hello and welcome to the latest episode of InnovateHer, Women in Product. Today I am joined by Cindy Camacho. Cindy, how are you?
Hi, I'm great. Thanks. How are you doing?
Good. Cindy is the Director of Product Management at VivoAquatics, where she drives the development of their SaaS web application, VivoPoint, and fosters a product-led culture. With a broad background across industries like healthcare, education, she brings diverse insights to her work. Cindy holds a dual master's degree in business and public administration alongside certifications in product management and Scrum. She's passionate about leadership, diversity, and environmental advocacy, and she also enjoys spending time with her family and pets in Orlando. Cindy, could you share a little bit about your journey, about how you got into product management?
Yeah, sure. And great intro, by the way. Awesome job. Well, my journey started early on. I essentially started in customer service and account management. So very, very much like client facing, customer, care type roles, fixing problems. I tend to be good at that, just, one-on-one conversations and, satisfaction is always a top priority of mine. And my job ultimately in account management was, retention and satisfaction. So I did that for many years. And then I kind of got tired of it just because I eventually stopped believing in the products that I was servicing. And, when you care about your customers, you want the best for them. And, I realized I wanted to be on the other side. I didn't want to, solve problems reactively. I wanted to be, building the solutions that really, 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 truly met my customers' needs. So more proactively, understanding, the solution that would truly benefit them. So understanding the persona, building a solution instead of continually putting Band-Aids on things. So I managed a department that today would be called product management. But back then it wasn't called that because the company didn't have product management. So instead it was called like emerging business operations. And I managed like the account managers and then the business analysts. And we were known as that cool department that did like the new stuff. So I was asked to research a new opportunity, which is like, discovery market research, but we didn't call it that back then. So I did that, I started doing the research, I started doing the homework, and that's when I got the bug. I got the product bug really, really, really bad. And, I presented, my findings to executive leadership, and poof, there I go. I'm off into my new career venture, not knowing at all that it's product management. In fact, my title wasn't even product manager. My title was channel manager. So it worked out really great for me because in the process of doing the discovery, I was able to hone in on traits that I used every day anyway, because I loved learning. I loved learning new things. I loved school. I knew that knowledge was, always going to be like my power. And knowledge was going to be my key, to open doors for my future. In fact, I worked full time while finishing my bachelor's and master's. So it was just part of my everyday, learning, documenting, reporting on my findings. So it was just something I did anyway. I was kind of a career student, and I think a lot of that translated into product management. So, it took over 10 years for me to find, what I was good at and what I loved, because I do love product management. But it was a journey, it didn't happen overnight. I had to go in and out of, different industries, different fields. And, add 10 more years to that. And here I am, director of product management for VivoAquatics. So, and, we're a leader in water safety, conservation, energy management, and compliance, which, is my core values, conservation, compliance, energy, all that good stuff kind of ties together. And quick plug for our company, for our platform, VivoPoint. We recently was named a winner in the 2024 SaaS Awards program in Best SaaS Product for Health and Risk Management category.
Amazing.
So I'm so proud of us. I just had to say that because that is like such a great thing for us, you know. So quick plug.
Oh, amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you.
What are some unique perspectives or experiences you believe women bring to the product management roles?
Our perspective and experience of sometimes being like the underdog. When you're the underdog, you work harder to prove yourself. You've got like that fire inside of you. You know, you've got that drive, that grit, that pride to prove to others and to yourself, you know. I think at times our starting line isn't the same as others in their starting lines. So I think if you're marginalized, you try harder. It's kind of like the immigrant story, you know. You have to work harder when you have more roadblocks in your way. And I think that really helps us to succeed in product management is like that drive, that fire, that passion. You know, it goes hand in hand. You have to be passionate about your product. You have to love your product. You know, I can tell you personally, my products have been like my pride and joy, and you know, they're my babies. And when I launch them, you know, I'm letting my baby out into the world, you know, and when I'm seeing my baby, you know, crawl, walk, run, and it brings me like so much joy. I think other skills for us is our ability to listen to people.
Mm-hmm.
I think we just tend to do that naturally. Like we love to listen, right? We love community. And with that comes our ability to empathize with other people's problems. I think collaboration is huge. Collaboration is so big in product management, and we love to collaborate. And I think we always have the end goal in mind of solving problems. And that's really fundamentally what product management is about.
Sounds like such a great fit for you, especially. In your opinion, what are some of the biggest challenges that women face in the product sphere?
It's amazing. Even in today's world, and times, you know, we are still challenged with not acknowledging or believing that there is still a challenge, that there still is a challenge of breaking through, right? Like that today is a challenge in itself. It's getting better, but it's still here. And I would really like to see it being more acknowledged and it not being such a, you know, a cause that we have to keep fighting for. I think that would be, for me, my dream come true is like, you know, we don't have to fight anymore for this to be known as a real thing. It's not a debate anymore. Come on, guys. You see it, right? In fact, I read this really great article by Deborah Liu. She's the CEO of Ancestry. And it's entitled, What Happened to Women in Product? And it was written during the pandemic. So I highly recommend you guys read it because it's enlightening. So October 2020, she wrote this awesome article and she calls out like this fundamental like switch and change that changed the trajectory for product management, for women in product management. And it was the addition of technical degrees, like CS degrees, in product management job descriptions, right? That one change had such a huge impact on women in product management. And she like remembers like her time in like the late 90s and the early 2000s where product management was gender balanced. It was like 50-50, you know? Years later, you know, men outnumbered women because more men have tech degrees. You know what I mean? That's just the data just shows it. And this happened around 2004. You know, Google changed its requirements for PMs. You know, they got some feedback from engineers. The feedback was PMs are not technical enough. You know, they're too businessy. And boom, Google added CS degrees to their job descriptions. And 2005, women only earned about 1 in 5 CS degrees. You know what I
Wow.
mean? So when you think about it, compared to men, we're outnumbered. So, and that's 2005 in the US. It's still kind of the same today. You know what I mean? So I don't think it was intentional. I don't think there was, this, plan of attack, adding this requirement, to job descriptions. But I think we need to acknowledge that requirement changed the trajectory of women in product management, growth, our career growth within product management. There were women who had long lasting careers in product management now that couldn't qualify for product management jobs. So, they had the hands-on experience. They started in Silicon Valley. They were of that era, and they were doing the job successfully. But everybody followed Google, and now they can't qualify for jobs that they've been doing the majority of their careers. So it affected women, aspiring to work in product management, and women with a vision to be, chief product officers, like, joining the C-suite.
Mm-hmm.
So there's so many studies and metrics that support like trends like this, which is why not acknowledging or believing that this is still a challenge today in itself is just a roadblock, bottom line. And there's still other challenges like, because of the growth of product management throughout the years, schools are starting to recognize, like academia is starting to recognize the need to have like dedicated degrees. So there are now master's degrees in product management. Very well-known universities have programs, graduate level programs. And it's so interesting that even in their like enrollment materials, as they're, luring students, they say, typical students come with a technical background in computer science or engineering. Mm-hmm. You're doing it again. You know what I mean? You are going to, you're going to call out that, hey, just FYI, typical students have a technical background like computer science. Well, I'm probably not going to go for that program now because I don't have a degree in computer science. So already my starting line is back there.
Yeah.
So it's stuff like that I think we just need to, those are challenges that should be just known challenges.
That's so fascinating because a majority of the people that I've talked to got into product in such a roundabout way. Like no one necessarily set out, because there is no type of formal education to get into product. At least there wasn't. So now there are more clear defined routes, but they're still very tailored to the male perspective. So yeah, it's very fascinating point you've brought up. Could you discuss any specific projects or initiatives that you've led that you are particularly proud of? I know you gave a little shout out to your company winning that award. Is there anything else, or what could you explain your involvement with it?
Oh, sure. So we are in the aquatics space. And this is a very hands-on type of industry. So it's not necessarily a tech industry, but we are evolving into incorporating more technology into the industry, more IoT, more analytics, so our software, VivoPoint, is, the leading software in this space because we've incorporated within aquatics what other SaaS products has done for those industries. So being awarded that and recognized, within health and safety, like that's exactly where our roadmap wants to go. And I think it's just another, feather in our cap saying, we are a leader in this space and, watch out, you guys, we're coming. And I'm just so happy about it. So proud of us.
Well, that's fantastic. How do you foster inclusivity and diversity within your product teams?
There are so many ways you can foster, inclusivity and diversity. And I think one of the biggest things is the way you communicate. Communicate like you really care about someone's, perspective and opinion. That is, you'd be surprised how hard that is. It's so hard sometimes, for leaders to just like stop, like listen, pause, ask questions, repeat. Like that's the magic formula for you to show that you truly are invested and you care about where somebody came from. They don't look like you, they don't talk like you, they don't act like you. They didn't go to your school. They didn't come from your background. So if we can just start at least communicating like we really care, um, that just opens up the opportunity for relationship, which of course fosters collaboration and being comfortable and trust, and that helps with innovation. Um, I think if you just feel marginalized, you're not going to be your best. You're not going to perform your best if you feel marginalized. And you can feel marginalized. It doesn't have to be gender. It can be marginalized, like I said prior. It could be the background, the education, the experience. Oftentimes product managers are hired only because the company wants one specific industry experience. They only want candidates from this one industry, and that's it. So they're not diversifying the knowledge base. You know what I mean? In addition to your workforce. So it's twofold, right? You're not diversifying your knowledge base because you're only sticking to one industry, one specific industry. And, there's probably a dominator in that industry. Therefore, you're not, diversifying your workforce. So you're getting the same perspective, over and over and over again, which hinders creativity and innovation. So, if your company needs help with DEI, help them. Help them. Volunteer, mentor, be an advocate for change, an advocate for progress, because our voices matter. We matter.
Well, can you share any strategies or tactics that you find effective in balancing your career growth with your product management?
It's really easy to get burned out in product management. So, and I learned this the hard way. And I think people just tend to learn this the hard way. um, you feel like you don't control your schedule and time. So I would say number one rule: control your schedule and time as much as possible, as much as you can. Know when you perform at your best. Have a vision for yourself. Like that has always been like a North Star for me, is knowing where I want to go. It's helped me come out of, some very stressful situations when I felt like there was a light at the end of the tunnel because I knew where I wanted to go. I had that vision. So whether it's like rapid career growth or, slow and steady, have something to strive for, something that inspires you and motivates you. Take time off, whether it's a vacation or leave of absence, whatever, take it off. And if taking time off is seen as weak, don't work for that company. Don't work for that boss. Life is short. Life is so, so, so short. I've known a lot of women who have burnt out, and they just couldn't anymore. They just stopped. They just couldn't. And, it affected everything. It affected their home life, their job, their health, their sanity. So, life is short. Take time off if you need it, because this is an extremely stressful job. You're pulled in so many different directions. I'm so blessed with my boss because, I was very honest with him. I told him there are times when I get to a point and then I just shut down. And he does not want that for me. He's super understanding and accommodating. And we work for a small company. We got to do what we got to do to get the job done. So some days I'm product marketing, some days I'm QA, some days I'm a product owner, some days I'm sales enablement, some days I'm a researcher. Like product management is at the intersection of everything. So you're pulled in multiple directions. So I think to help with that, so you're not so thin on time all the time, is try to control your time, and schedule. So balance your schedule, have a vision, and take time off to recharge.
Just to piggyback off of that, if you could give your younger self just starting out at your career advice with what you know now, what would you tell your younger self?
Oof, oh boy. What wouldn't I tell her? Oh gosh. I mean, I think I would tell her like I would tell any young woman aspiring to enter the field. Um know your superpower. Um I know for me, I wanted to be everything for everyone. I was a chameleon. Like I was like, what version of myself do I need to be today? Because you're just not confident enough, and you're still learning yourself. I would go into meetings and okay, what Cindy do I need to be? Okay, well, they like it this way, so I need to be nice Cindy today. Oh, I'm meeting with that person, so I got to go and I got to be super strategic and make sure I support everything I say with like data so they can believe me and view me as a subject matter expert. Don't smile too much, Cindy. Don't go into that meeting smiling because they're going to see that as a sign of weakness. They like, serious and stern Cindy. um and there's meetings where I get to be myself, and those were the best meetings, the most productive meetings, where like I got so much done and accomplished, and the best things came out of those meetings because I was just naturally myself. And it's exhausting. That's like the emotional labor that we don't get paid for. And some may argue, but I don't think men need to do that as much as we do. I think women just do that more. So when I say like learn your superpower, when you know your superpower, you won't be too keen on shapeshifting. You you know what I mean? I think once you know your superpower, your true self comes out naturally, which leads you to make the right career decisions. You know what I mean? So like if your superpower is like customer and market research, right? Perhaps you go into your product marketing. You know what I mean? If your superpower is organization and process, perhaps you'll go into product operations. So when you know your superpower, when you know that, I think you are better placed in where you should be because you're choosing those areas that you're a better match, right? You're more compatible with, and compatibility is so important. Just like in a relationship, you want to be compatible with your partner. Same thing for a job. You want to be compatible with your job. You want to be compatible with your company. And that just helps you be the authentic version of yourself. So, own your superpower. I'm going to put that on a t-shirt. That's what I'm doing next.
Trademark. That's fantastic advice. I love that. And I think women do tend to mask. They read the room and they think, okay, this is what I need to be, rather than who am I and how can I
Mm-hmm.
contribute? It's just shoeboxing yourself. So that, please put it on a t-shirt. I'll buy it.
Okay, I'm doing it.
Done. What are some trends or developments you foresee shaping the future of product?
Um, well, I think there's a lot going on right now in the product universe, actually the product multiverse, like so many opportunities. So I don't know if you guys know, Lenny's newsletter, but I subscribe to his newsletter. I think he just sends out like super, super cool information. He recently in July sent out an article. It was the state of product and product adjacent job market. And it was really encouraging to see all the opportunities in product. And the number one fastest growing role right now, according to his research, was product growth roles. Hey, product led growth. So product growth roles, number one fastest growing role. And the skills listed for these roles, some of the skills I've already mentioned, right? Like empathy,
Hmm.
We are natural leaders, right? Because we have to lead a lot in our lives. So empathy, leadership, communication, strategic thinking, prioritization, analytical thinking, data analysis, experimentation. I mean, we've totally got this. These are things as a working woman, as, a mom or balancing multiple things in your life, you just do this anyway. You know what I mean? These are just things you do before you have your cup of coffee. So we've totally got this. So I absolutely see women thriving in product growth roles, and it's encouraging. It's inciting.
Oh, that's fantastic. How do you approach decision making and problem solving within your role?
Well, I think some of the things that I mentioned. So like listening, I need to listen, right? I need to know as much as possible before I need to make a decision. So in product, you want to know about the person who's going to use your product, right? You want to know who the user is. You want to know who the buyer is. You want to know who the decision maker is. You want to know that, and with that comes the listening, the empathy. The community, where is this going to be used? Who do I have to collaborate to solve this problem? So I think those are the same type of skills that I use in my decision making. Who am I solving this problem for and why? What do they really need and why? I honestly don't want to waste my time to build a product that is useless. I don't want to build something that no one's going to use, that's not adding value. I want the feedback. I want honesty, so doing the upfront work, like the upfront homework and research helps to make sure your product is a valuable product. And if it's not valuable, tell me why it's not. And I'll try again, don't have product myopia. If it didn't work, move on to the next, and fundamentally don't forget the problem you're trying to solve and who it's for.
Brilliant. Could you share any memorable stories from your career of impacts that women have had on your leadership journey?
Um, I have worked with various type of leaders with different types of personalities, and it helped me as a woman leader in product create something that I think we all need, and that is psychological safety in the workplace. I think that is so important. Um, and it may not be, a company culture initiative, but for me, it's going to be an initiative that I just need. I need it for me, and I need it for my team, and I need it for my peers. So I strongly believe in building and having a safe place. I I won't tolerate bullying, whether I'm being bullied or someone is being bullied. Perhaps that's my maternal side coming out, or perhaps that's just me being a good human being. But when I form a team, I emphasize, that this space is a safe place. Your ideas will be heard. You won't be interrupted. And if you are, you get to call it out without fear of retaliation. You know what I mean? So, you're allowed to make mistakes. You're allowed to say, I don't know. You're not expected to be perfect. What I expect is kindness, for you to be ethical, and for you to be honest. I think those three things are super important to create the psychological safety in the workplace. But if you work in Scrum, in agile software development, there's similar types of pillars. So the three pillars of Scrum: transparency, inspection, adaptation. If you follow those rules, you're essentially creating already that safe place, already enforcing psychological safety in the workplace. So like transparency is all about clear communication. Inspection is all about constantly monitoring and evaluating, right? Making things better. Adaptation is just ongoing development, right? So those are just good things to have in a team, good things to have personally as a person. So because I've worked with multiple different types of personalities, it helped me want to foster, a safe place. And, working in, software development, having those three Scrum pillars helped me translate that in like a dev world. You know what I mean? So it helped me not only translate it from the, psychological side, but it helped me translate it for like the, hey, Scrum software development side. So it worked hand in hand.
What are some initiatives or organizations you're involved in that aim to support and empower women in product?
Well, I mean, this one, Innovate Her. This is fantastic. Like, I'm so excited. Woot woot.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm so excited about this opportunity. So this for me is number one. I love Product Led Alliance. I'm an ambassador. Been to the conferences. So, I tell everybody, you guys have to be part of Product Led Alliance.
Oh, thank you.
Product product makers, they have a women in group. Women in product group. Product folks also has a women in product group. So if you could find just like anything, hashtag women in product, you're going to have that community, right? That sense of camaraderie, that place to talk to others. Product mind is just good anyway. Like everybody in product should be in product mind because of how stressful our job is. And it's not like gender specific. It's just product people who need other product people to just vent and talk and, get good tips and stuff. LinkedIn has so many groups for like, female empowerment, women executives, women leadership, positive this, positive that, product this, product that. So I try to join as many LinkedIn groups that will feed me that content, so I'm constantly being immersed in a culture like this. Try to stay in the culture that you want to work in. And I do that through having really good feeds, via all these different sources. I love to read. So I support female authors in product. So like, who doesn't know Teresa Torres, right? Who doesn't know April Dunford? I just got Make It Punchy by Emma Stratton, who was recommended by Tamara, Graminsky. So you see the full circle there, right? So one author recommending another author, and I'm reading her book, and her book is really great. And I think it's her first book. So I'm super happy to support her there. And you just side note, by supporting them, it could just be like, hey, I loved your book. This is what I learned from it, and this is how it helped me. That's so valuable for these authors. You could comment on one of their posts, validating their viewpoints. It just builds that community. It changes perceptions, and it creates that diverse culture that we're looking for.
Oh, fantastic. Our last question, how do you see the role of women evolving in the product management field going forward?
Well, I still recommend, hey, if your company needs help, help them. Like if they need help with DEI, volunteer, mentor, build a group, build a community. Don't wait for your company. Sometimes it just starts with one person. And then you have this like amazing snowball effect where, you're just now creating the culture that you want to work in, right? With more diverse people. And if you do it, you can spread it so quickly. So, if you need to be that one champion or the first champion, just do it. Just like you wouldn't wait to, invest in yourself, right? Like you want to treat yourself like a product, right? You want to treat yourself like you're so valued, you have so many benefits. It's a really good return on investment. So just like you shouldn't wait for your company to invest in DEI, you should invest in yourself, in your product management growth professionally to have more tools in your toolbox, and then iterate, just like product management, right? Just keep trying and testing, keep A/B testing, with yourself. Don't wait for opportunity, seek opportunity, stay hungry, don't be complacent, always learn. Ask questions. I think that's something else I would have said to my younger self. I didn't ask enough questions because I didn't want to look stupid. I was very scared about looking stupid because I would ask questions and I felt stupid, So those things have lasting impact. So be very, very careful with, when somebody's genuinely trying to learn something, how you respond to them, especially if they are already marginalized, because all that's going to do is set everybody back. So don't be afraid to ask questions. Ask as many questions as possible to feel confident in the thing that you're doing. Um, and bond with other women, find community in other women, and community with men who believe in diversity and inclusion. Find those champions in that community that will, fight by your side, find those allies. So I think it's kind of like a shift in our society. I think our role is going to evolve because our society is evolving. So there's going to be like a natural shift in the right direction.
That was fantastic. Thank you so much for letting me interview, getting your perspective, your history. This has been one of the most fascinating conversations. Yeah, just want to say thank you so much.
Oh my gosh, it was my pleasure. Thank you. I really, really cherish this time. So yeah, it was an honor. Thanks.
Well, thank you all for listening to this episode, and I'm excited to see you on the next one of InnovateHer Women in Product. Cindy, thank you so much for joining us, and everyone, have a lovely day.